What is my worldview? I have never answered this question, and honestly, I have never really thought about it. But 2 days ago, I received a comment on my YouTube channel, Dayan, would you make a video about your worldview? And I thought that my worldview is, pretty out in the open. I mean, I started to reply to this comment and I was like, well, if you watch me, you'll understand. But the truth is, I have 1,500 videos on YouTube for 9 years now. And honestly, my worldview changes a lot. And if someone watches videos from 3 years ago and then watches a video from this year, they can see a difference in the way I think and the way I perceive the world. That's why today I've prepared some questions to answer, which will best explain what my worldview actually is. Of Diankata, who am I and where did I start from? I am Dejan Ivanov, better known on social media as Dean Fraser, although I've changed my name on social media several times. The channel I started with on social media was once called Creamy Links, and before that it was called The Bulgarian Gamer. The channel I'm making this video on is actually my third channel, and this is the third name of this channel because over the years I've tried different things, and my first YouTube channel was The Bulgarian Gamer. There are 2 videos that are public. The others I hid because they're really bad, League games. But that's where I started at 15 or 16, I think. And it was my first YouTube channel. After that, I made a second YouTube channel called The Creamy Links. But actually, before I made the YouTube channel, I was a Twitch streamer, and my name there was Creamy Links. I made the YouTube channel later, and my first video was how to install LOL skins, and the second one was a gold making guide for Guild Wars 2. And my third video was me commenting on Gospodarina Efira, because I got expelled from my school because I had a beard, basically, and then it turned out that our principal was very corrupt. And she remains principal illegally and expels all the boys with long hair and beards because she hates men. And after that, she was removed from being principal. What was my worldview as a child or as a teenager? My worldview is that everything has always revolved around the internet, since I've been playing games from a very young age. Since I was 5 or 6 years old, I was in Montana with all my friends at gaming cafes, playing games together, playing games socially. My dream as a kid was to be like all the people on the internet who play games. And that's it. They play games as a profession. That was my dream. And if they could do it, then I could too. And I've always been interested in creating content on social media. Before YouTube, eBox, and all those things existed, like content creators, I was very popular on Ask.fm and Facebook, getting 5,000 likes. It was a very scandalous teenage phase because I was a skater, and very cringe to be honest, but there was something in Sofia called the Bieber Mafia, and as cringe as it sounds, I was the boss of the Bieber Mafia. It was super scandalous. We were a very big group of popular kids on the internet. We used to gather at the mall and at Park Center Sofia. Back then it was called City Center Sofia. And the whole thing was so tight-knit that, for example, if someone from our group came somewhere, everyone would go, like 50 or 60 people would go to greet them, hug them, stuff like that. It was super scandalous. That's once in a lifetime. That was almost 15 years ago. 13. Those were the events that shook up or changed my old beliefs. When I started making money at 16 from playing League, from that moment I knew that the future was on the internet and that a person needs to establish themselves online as an individual so that their persona can work for them. And I did that very diligently during 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, and then reality hit me hard. When I went to pursue my dreams in England, or at least I thought I wanted to live my dreams in England, to pursue higher education in game programming, drawing, and game development. I went there, I got accepted, my IELTS score was very high, I think it was 7.5. They accepted me with a partial scholarship so that my dorm would be free. Yes, I was a smart teenager, as strange as it may sound. And at that time, I was already making between 800 and 1,000 leva as a student. And at that time, 800 to 1,000 leva a month was quite a lot of money. The first thing that shook me was when I went to university. I had been studying for 2 weeks. I really didn't like what I was studying for 6 or 7 hours a day. I sat down and decided to check how much the monthly salary of a programmer was. And back then it was about 30,000 pounds, 35,000 pounds for a junior if you managed to find a job. And I said, what, so I have to study for 4 years, then have another year of something just to make not that much money? And I quit. I left university to follow my dreams. Because working 8 hours a day at something you dislike, for me, not living my dreams was unacceptable. I quit my job to pursue them, but for a year and a half, nothing worked out. And I was extremely poor, but I didn't give up, and I believed that it's better to be poor and happy, doing what you love, than rich and unhappy. But over time, you realize that's not exactly true either. It has to be somewhere in the middle. or to make enough money so you can afford to take time to follow your dreams, because you can't starve. You can starve when you're 20, you know what I mean? Teenage years and early university days were exactly when I could afford it. I've always said, if a young guy is watching me, bro, get your act together and chase your dreams. Because going broke twice at 20 is way better than going broke following your dreams at 25 or 30. If you're young, try absolutely everything that's on your mind, because there's nothing to be afraid of. I worked as a photographer, and then I worked in a call center selling football tickets to English people. My call center was called, I don't remember its name. Have there been moments when you felt lost? Yes, much more often than people think. Feeling lost doesn't necessarily have to be something negative, but it's very important while you feel lost, not to make decisions that only make you feel less lost for a little while out of fear, just so you don't stay lost, because staying lost can sometimes be the most painful, but also the happiest thing that can happen to you, because that's when changes in your character come. That's when things you didn't expect happen. Honestly, I feel I'm in such a moment now, but there's nothing to fear, because I remind myself that so far, every single moment when I have felt like I wanted to scream, seeking understanding, I went through it and everything turned out fine. So yes, I have felt lost. And yes, it's scary, it sucks, it's stupid, it's messed up, I hate it, but every time I've had such a moment, my life has gotten better. And through the pain and the suffering and the lessons, and through self-discovery, you find a part of yourself that will later make you the happiest person in the world. Until the next moment comes when you have to grow and your life has to change, because life is full of ups and downs, so you're never safe. I'll just tell you this. If you think there's a moment when everything is normal, no, I have no idea how parents do it. Like, what the fuck, bro? When my father was 28, I was 7. Now at 28, I have no idea what's going on. What? I have an idea what's happening with my life, but in general, no. At what moment or which person changed the way you see the world the most? Roro Kalaijiev. This man is the reason I'm here right now and believe in myself, because he was the first person who believed in me. And I will never forget him for the rest of my life, and I won't allow Roro's memory to be forgotten, even though he touched so many hearts that will never happen. But I will play my part. And as for this man, every time I think of him, I will simply pray that he rests in peace, and I will thank him for everything. Everything that he has told me, everything he has done for me, and everything he inspired me to believe, especially in myself. But sometimes people need a little push. Someone to believe in you first, so that you can believe in yourself, that the things you do are in the right direction. I realized a lot about my life back then when I received that knowledge, but at the time I never realized anything. If I have to be honest, there's a phrase that Roro told me and I remember it. I'll never forget it. Diane, if you ground your energy, you'll conquer the world. When he said that to me at 16 or 17, I thought, bro, what are you talking about? 10 years later, I wish I could talk to him. Yes. What are the main principles I believe in right now? I believe in freedom, which is financial. I believe in financial freedom. Now I will explain why. Because you are not truly free if you cannot afford to be free. And I am speaking from the perspective of travel, health, security. If you are worried that something might happen to your family and you don't have the money to heal them or help them, that is a lack of freedom. If you want to travel the world, but every trip comes with financial problems, that is not freedom. The freedom of choice is the only freedom I believe in. I believe in love. I believe that a person can find their soulmate, but unfortunately, I also believe that sometimes soulmates start to look in different directions, because everyone grows at some point. But I believe that if something is meant to be, it will be yes. How do I look at my mistakes and failures? Now, it would be very stupid to say, I see them as lessons. The truth is, I hate a lot of my mistakes. I hate them with all my heart. They say that every mistake is a lesson in what not to do, but the truth is, sometimes we end up repeating the mistakes we swore we would never make. What hurts me the most is when sometimes we have to become what we once said we would never become. That motivates me to keep moving forward. I believe this is a very personal thing. And what really motivates me to keep going is the connection with people. I love creating content. to read comments, to connect with people, to have a community. For me, that's one of the coolest things. I keep moving forward because even if just one person says, Deyanka, you helped me, regardless of views, likes, or comments, that's enough reason for me. Because one person, the life of one person is enough to motivate me to look on the bright side of things. What do I expect from people? What I give them? Respect and loyalty. Respect and loyalty. Maybe that's what I expect from people. Respect and loyalty and dedication. What do I give to the world? I truly believe that I give quite a bit of information and value. I really do. I believe that. I believe it with all my heart, with every part of my being. I truly believe that I make great content. I create real content based on real life. And very often people judge me for, say, some part of my life where, for example, for 2 or 3 months I go to more parties. But then there are 5 or 6 months when I'm into personal growth, self-development, and all those things, and nobody judges me for that, right? Because it's more accepted on social media to show only the golden side. And I've accepted the knife of the double-edged sword. God, I really made it dramatic. I've accepted that what I do is a double-edged sword. And this sword that's pointed at me is that I allow people to get to know me at the wrong time and form an opinion that's not relevant to my whole life. Being upset with someone for 2 months doesn't make it a bad year. Judging someone for a single year doesn't mean their whole life is trash. I think I provide a lot of information. And literally in front of you, I've gone from the poorest part of my life to the most successful part. Everything is on video, and I've shared every detail, showing everyone that it's possible. With which internal demons are you still fighting? There are many. I want everything, and I'm afraid I'll lose what I have. That's one of the demons. I just believe that it's not like that, or at least I want to believe it. The demons I'm fighting? There are a lot more than I would admit. I'm ashamed of how many demons I actually have to fight inside myself. How do I cope when I fall down again? There's no magic. You get up and deal with it, nobody cares about you. You better make sure you're okay. You get up, keep going, drink a glass of cold water, stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, no one is going to be here for you except yourself. That's the truth. Why do they say I shout a lot at the gym? No, someone had mentioned it to me. Oh, it's because I have noise cancellation and a microphone, and this guy comes up to me and says, hey bro, do you happen to have noise cancellation? I said, yeah, why? Because you can't hear how loud you're talking. I was so embarrassed because I didn't mean to shout. Not at all, actually. Oops, over there. Okay, I lifted 34. Last workout I did with 32 kilos. Not a little, but still. But now, since we switched to Viktor Taskov, we're starting with bench press. I got really tired there. What would I say to my past self? Absolutely nothing. I was thinking before answering this question, and I wondered if I would tell him if I could go like some kind of spirit like the Jedi and tell him everything will be all right. If a future Dayan told me everything would be all right, I'd relax. So I'm sorry, Dayan from the past. If it were up to me, I wouldn't come to help you, no matter how much you need it, no matter how much I need it right now. You know, for example, I'm fine, don't get the wrong idea. I'm just going through some things in life that I chose to go through for my better future. Just shit. But yeah, no matter how much I want someone to help me right now, I know that if someone comes and tells me everything will be okay, I'll relax because I don't know if everything will be okay. What do I want people to remember from this video? I would like people to remember that you are not who you were 2 years ago. And you won't be. What you are now in 2 years. Don't judge yourself and don't judge your past self. Be kind. Be kind. Be good people. What is the one thing I believe in without a doubt? I'd say myself, but I don't always trust myself, or I would. Have inner worries right now, but I would say that my intuition is probably the strongest thing that has proven itself tens of thousands of times. These are the questions I prepared. Maybe this is one of the best videos I've ever filmed. I love you, legends. Love yourselves too. Be good people. If you want to ask me a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in another video, a little in each vlog.